Right, good afternoon colleagues, good afternoon boys and girls. We are going to look at analytical geometry. We looked at analytical geometry this morning, the one of grade 10 and grade 11. Of course, now mainly we are going to concentrate at grade 12 analytical geometry. Please, like you did this morning, pay attention, make sure that you get as much information as possible. Like I said this morning, you know, analytical geometry is one of those topics that you must make sure that you collect as many as possible. Right now, let me just remind you quickly about what we did this morning. Of course, we looked at the gradient, we looked at the midpoint, and also we looked at the what? At the distance and the equation of a straight line. Of course, we still need this information here on the analytical geometry of grade 12. Right now, let us now start now with the analytical geometry of grade 12. Of course, here mainly we'll be concentrating on what? On the circle, on the equation of the circle. Remember now we have two types of the circle here, the one that is centered at origin and the other one that is centered at any point. Right, let us now start. When you look at this one here, we have the circle here. This circle here is centered at origin, right? This circle is centered at origin, right? What is it that is important here? Of course, we must remember now, what is the equation of the circle that is centered at origin? Of course, that will be what? R squared plus y squared plus x squared is equals to r squared. Of course, x squared plus y squared is equals to r squared. That is the equation of a circle centered at origin. Of course, now mainly here what is important is you must now remember now you must be able to do what? You must be able now to determine the equation. You must be able now to determine, number one, the equation. You must be able to determine the equation of a circle. You must be able now to determine the equation of a circle, which is very, very important. Now, when you determine the equation of the circle, what is it that you need? For you to have x squared plus y squared is equals to r squared, what is it that you need here? It is very important here. That is x squared plus y squared there is equals to r squared. Let me write it correctly, of course, because now the sign is a plus between the two. There's not much difference, but the correct way here is x squared plus y squared is equals to r squared. Good. Now, what is it that you need when you determine the equation of the circle? Of course, we agree that because this circle here is centered at origin, of course, the first thing that you need here, that will be what? That will be the radius. Of course, you need the radius of the circle, which of course is very, very important, the radius of the circle. And now number two, if you don't have the radius of the circle, of course, you need what? You need a point on the circle. Of course, from here now, you will not be able to determine the equation of the circle. Maybe just to emphasize the issue of the radius as well as the point on the circle here. If I have to make an example here, if we are given that the radius here is what? The radius here is 5. Now it will be easier for you to determine the equation, because the only thing that we need in this equation, x squared plus y squared is equals to r squared, is just to substitute r with what? With 5. Just substitute r with 5 and then you square it there. You're going to have x squared plus y squared is equals to 5 squared. Therefore, the answer there is 25. Therefore, the equation of this circle here will be what? The equation of this circle will be x squared plus y squared is equals to 25. That's when now if the radius is given, if r is equals to 5. But also, like I said, there are a situation whereby you'll find that there is a point on that circle. You find that there is a point on that circle, and now they say the coordinates of this point here, that is 2 as well as what? That is 2 as well as minus 3 here. 2 as well as minus 3. Now, what is it that you're going to do in this case? Okay, let me make it 5. Let me make it 5. That is 5 as well as minus 3 here. What is it that you're going to do in this situation here? Of course, it's more or less similar with the first one that we did, where we have what? Where we have the radius. But in this case, what is it that you must do? Of course, it's very important to say, okay, we know that the equation of the circle is r squared. And the second point, why are we saying the equation of the circle is x squared plus y squared is equals to r squared? Because this circle here, it is centered at origin. Okay, now, what is our situation now? What is it that we're going to do here? Of course, now we need to substitute this point here because we don't have the radius. If we can determine the radius, then we will be able now to have what? To have the equation. Of course, the x here, it is 5 squared, and then the y there, it is minus 3 squared. Therefore, it is equals to r squared. And then from here, you say 5 squared is what? It is 25 minus 3 squared is 9. It's r squared. When I added it to 25 plus 9, of course, that will be what? That will be 30. 34 is equals to r squared. Now, immediately now I can see now the equation of the circle here is what? Is what? It's no, the radius here, it is r squared is equals to 34. Therefore, equation then will be x squared plus y squared is equals to 34. In this type of the questions, the only thing that you must have is to have what? Is to have r. If you have r, then it will be easier for you to have the equation of the circle. Good. This one is the first one, circle centered at origin. Now we also have a circle centered at any point, right? That is centered at any point. Of course, I can also make the same. Taking out now, we have this one here. Of course, now let me now say the center is here now. Of course, the coordinates of the center now will be what? Will be A as well as B. Of course, we have our R here. That is R. Now, the equation of this circle is what? It's x minus A all squared plus y minus B all squared is equals to R squared. X minus A all squared plus y minus B all squared is equals to r squared. Good. Now, like I said, what is important in this topic is you must be able to determine the equation. Once you know how to determine the equation, of course, the next question now can ask the midpoint, can ask about the equation of the tangent. But what is important is if you can be able to determine the equation of the center, then you will be on the safe side, right? Now, what is it that you need for you to be able to determine the equation of this circle here? Of course, remember the first one we said you needed a radius or a point on the circle. Boys and girls, it's still the same case in this one here. It's still the same case when you determine the equation. When you determine the equation here, of course, you still need what? You still need the radius. But here we are specific now to say you need to have a center. You need to have a center as well as what? As well as the radius. You need to have the center and the radius. Of course, the second one, you also need to have a center as well as a point on that line. Right. Once we have these two, then it will be easier for you to do what? To determine the equation of the circle. The difference between the two. This one, we know that the center is at origin. What about this one here? We know that the center is at any point. Whereby now we will be using x minus a all squared plus y minus b all squared is equals to r squared. Of course, to add again on this one also here, we will now have to find also the equation of the tangent. We will now also have to find the equation of the tangent. Now, how do we determine the equation of the tangent? Of course, we must remember now, if we have line 1 here, this will be line 2. Now, remember now, the gradient of line 1 multiplied by the gradient of line 2 is equals to -1. Why are we saying this? We know that the tangent is perpendicular to the radius, right? We know that tangent is perpendicular to the radius. Therefore, if we can have the gradient of the radius, then it will be easier for us to find the gradient of the tangent. Why do we need this one? Because you'll remember that most of the time we say now the tangent touches the circle only what? At one point. Therefore, if you have only this point here, therefore it won't be easier for you to determine the gradient of the tangent. That is why we need the radius, because you know that the radius is perpendicular to the tangent. Now, once you have that one, now we say now m radi multiply by the m tangent is equals to -1, and therefore now you find m tangent dividing both sides by the gradient of the radius. And therefore once you have the gradient, therefore you remember now the equation of the straight line, y minus y1 is equals to m into x minus x1, right? Or one can also say y is equals to mx plus y is equals to mx plus c, right? This is the information that you need before you can start answering the questions under what? Under analytical geometry, especially the one of what? Especially the one of the grade 12. Right, now, I think now you have a little bit of background now under analytical geometry of grade 12 now. Let us now try to take some of the past papers now to see if now we can now be able to answer these questions here. Right, now, let us look at this one. This is November 2010 question 6. That is November 2010 question 6. You can see now we have the line LP. Here's the line LP on this side, with the equation y plus x minus 2. The equation of this line is y plus x minus 2 is equals to 0. That's good. And then from there, we know that it's a tangent at L. It is also a tangent at L, right? To the circle with the center M, which is minus 4 and 4, right? And also, Ln is what? Ln is the diameter. Now you remember now the diameter is twice r. Then it means our r here, therefore will give us the diameter now, which is equals to 2, which is equals to 2r. Very important, right? Now from here now we can now go to say, also now they said LP is parallel to NQ. LP is parallel to NQ. Now, if they say now something is parallel, LP is parallel to NQ, what do you know about the parallel lines? What do you know about the parallel line? Of course, I know that if lines are parallel, they have the same gradient. Will you agree with me that say the gradient of LP is equal to the gradient of NQ, right? Now they also said where P lies on the x-axis and Q lies on the y-axis. This is our x-axis there, and now this one is on the y-axis. Right, now let us look at the question. Now we've read the statement, which is very important, boys and girls. Each and every time before you can answer the questions, make sure that you read the statement, you understand, or you can highlight all the information that is given on that statement. Right, question 6.1. 6.1, they are saying now we must determine the equation of the diameter Ln. We must determine the equation of the diameter Ln. Okay. Now here's the diameter Ln, and this diameter is a straight line. Is that correct? Here's the diameter is a straight line. Now you will remember now for the straight line we must have y minus y1 is equals to m into x minus x1, or one will say y is equals to mx plus y is equals to mx plus c. Now immediately now, once you have the formula, now we can now be able to identify to say, for me to be able to use this formula, I need to have the gradient of that line as well as a point on that line. Of course, if I go back a little bit now to the gradient, for me to determine the gradient, I need to have 2 points on the line, right? Yes, we must have 2 points on that line. Now, if I look at Ln, do I have 2 points here? No, I only see 1 point here now, which is our midpoint, right? Now, if we have 1 point, then we cannot use the gradient formula, right? If you cannot use the gradient formula, what is it that we must do now? Then let us look at another information. We have extra information here. Yes, we have the tangent on this side, LP, and also we have the tangent on this side, which is NQ. Why the tangent? Because we know that they are perpendicular to the radius. Yeah, they are perpendicular to the radius. Right, now, let us now see. We have the equation of the tangent LP, which is y plus x minus 2 is equals to 0. Then, the first thing that we need to do is to write this equation in the standard form. We must write it as y is equals to mx plus c. Therefore, now you will see we are going to have y here is equals to minus x plus 2. Y is equals to minus x plus 2. Now you can see now we have our equation in the standard form. Then immediately now from here now I can now be able to see now to say, okay, the gradient of the tangent what? The gradient of the tangent there, LP, is equals to a -1. If the gradient of the tangent LP is equals to -1, what is the gradient of the radius? What is the gradient of the diameter? Remember now, if this is the diameter, now it means now if I have to divide it into 2, we're going to have R1 on this side, R2 on this side, so that when we add the 2, they can give us the diameter. Right now, if we have to find the gradient of the radius, what is it that we are going to do? Because the tangent is perpendicular to the radius. Therefore, we know that m tangent multiplied by m radius is equals to -1. We know that m tangent multiplied by m radius is equals to -1. Therefore, now our tangent there is -1. Then we times by the radius, which is -1 as well. Then divide both sides by -1. Therefore, m radius here is equals to the positive 1. Why? It is very important always to remember that the tangent is perpendicular to the radius. Right now, we know that now the gradient of this line here, it's a what? It's a positive 1. Of course, now if this is a diameter, now we can say L, M, and N, they are on the same line. It means these points are collinear. If these points are collinear, then it means the gradient of LM is equal to the gradient of MN, or the gradient of LM is equal to the gradient of LN. Therefore, now I can now say, therefore, the gradient of what? The gradient of NL is equals to +1. Now I have the gradient, then it means now I can now be able now to say, therefore, here we have y minus y1 is equals to m into x minus x1, right? And then from here now we say, what is the gradient? The gradient is 1. Therefore, we have x. What is x1? Of course, we will have to use the point M, which is our center, whereby x there is a what? It's a -4. Then it will be -4 here. And now the same apply. Y1 is what? It's a +4. Right. Now here we have what? We multiply everything by x. 1 times x is x. Negative times negative, it's a positive. Therefore, we have a plus 4. Right. This is a -4 on this side. When I take it on the other side, we are going to have a plus 4 as well. Therefore, now we have x plus 4. Therefore, this will be what? When we add the 4 together there, the answer then will be what? The answer will be a positive 8. Therefore, now 6.1, the equation of the line Ln. The equation of the line Ln is equals to what? Is equals to x plus 8. Is equals to the y is x plus 8. Right. Now, this was the first question. Now, let us look at the second question now. It says now, calculate the coordinates of L. Calculate the coordinates of L. We must calculate the coordinates. Here is our L. Calculate the coordinates of L. Right. Now, what is it that you are going to do now to do this one? Remember now, we have the line LP and also the line LN. Then it means we are going to use these two lines to determine the coordinates of the x value, the x coordinate of L, as well as the y coordinate of N. Right now, what is it that you are going to do? Of course, if these two lines intersect at this point, at these 2 points, these two lines or these two lines are equal at this point. Therefore, since now we have the equation of LP as well as the equation of LN, now we are going to equate the two. We take the equation of LP, which is y is equals to minus x plus 2. And we take the equation of what? The equation of Ln, which is y is equals to x plus 8. We just equate the two because they intersect each other at what? At point L. Therefore, we have minus x plus 2 is equals to x plus 2. Minus x plus 2 is equals to x plus 2. X plus 8, right? X plus 8. And therefore, now we solve for x. We take this on the other side. minus x is equals to 8 minus 2. It's positive on this side, on the other side is going to be a negative. Therefore, minus x, it's a minus 2x, which is equals to what? Which is equals to 6. Then I divide by minus 2, Therefore, x is equals to a minus 3. Then we are happy now. We have x as a x coordinate of L there. It's a minus 3. Now the question then will be, of course, we are happy we have x. How do we determine the y? How do we determine the y coordinate of L? Of course, it's not a problem. You just substitute x in one of the two equations. Just substitute x in one of the two equations. If I take the first one, therefore now we say y is equals to minus 3 there plus 2. The negative times negative is a positive. Therefore, the answer is 5. Of course, now the answer said you must determine the coordinates of what? The coordinates of L. Then the answer will be the coordinates of L there. It's a minus 3 as well as what? Minus 3 as well as a positive 5. Now we have the coordinates of L. Right, so far so good, boys and girls. I think you are following well. Remember, if you don't get something clearly there, you can just ask the question so that you can get the clarity on that question that you don't understand. Right, 6.3. 6.3 now says determine the equation of the circle. Very important question. Determine now the equation of the circle. Right, now first of all, before we determine the equation, now we need to look at the circle. What type of the circle is this? Is it the one that is centered at origin, or is it the one that is centered at any point? Of course, you are right. That is the second one, the one that is centered at any point. Good. Now, what is the equation of that circle? What is the equation of the circle centered at any point? Yes, I can see now most of you have this one right. I can see that most of you have this one right. You know that the equation here is x minus a all squared plus y minus b all squared is equals to r squared. Nay, yeah, x minus a all squared plus y minus b all squared is equals to r squared. That is 100% correct. Right. Immediately then from here, what do you do now? Remember we said when you determine the equation of the circle, now you must remember now we said we need the following. On that circle, we must have the center, we must identify the center and the radius. Or you identify the center or a point on that circle. Right, now, of course now, one will say, good, now I have a point on this circle. This is the what? This is the center. It means I have A as well as B, right? Do I have the radius? No, I don't have the radius. The only thing that I have on this side, it is a what? It is a point. Of course, now it means now first we'll have to calculate the radius. Good. Now let us now substitute our center here. That will be x minus our A there is a minus 4 all squared plus y minus 4 here squared is equals to r squared, right? Now when I simplify this one, it's going to be negative times negative. That is a positive 4 all squared plus y minus 4 all squared is equals to r squared. Good. Now from here now we are happy with everything. But the problem now is we don't know what is the value of r. If you can have the value of r, then we will have the equation of the circle. Now, what is it that we must do now? We just take the point now because we said we don't have the radius. Then it means you must use that point wherever we set the point L. Now we substitute point L, which is minus 3 as well as 5. We substitute this one now to get the value of r. Right, the x there is a minus 3, then plus 4 all squared, and now we have y is a 5 minus 4 all squared is equals to r squared. Now from here, minus 3 plus 4 it's a 1, then 1 squared is 1, plus 5 minus 4 1, and now when you square it also it's a 1, which is equals to r squared. 1 plus 1 is 2. There we are. Then r squared is equals to 2. boys and girls, of course, you can determine the value of r. From this one, you can determine the value of r, saying that you apply the square root on both sides, then the square root of r squared there, and the square root of 2 there. You see that r is a square root of 2. Of course, especially when you find the equation. Especially when you find the equations, you can just leave it here, because what is it that you're looking for? I'm looking for r squared. Once I have r squared, then I can just substitute it in there. Then everything will then be what? Everything will then be fine. Therefore, now let us now answer the question. Therefore, the equation is x plus 4 all squared plus y minus 4 all squared is equals to the square root of 2. Then this is the equation of the circle with the center M at a point minus 4 and positive 4. Right, very important, boys and girls. When you determine the equation, check the center, the radius. If the radius is not there, check the center end and the point. Right, now 6.4. 6.4, write down the coordinates of n. Write down the coordinates of n. It's a very interesting question now. Look at n. Can you see n? Here it is n now. They are saying now must write down the coordinates of n. How do you write down the coordinates of n? Of course, you must look at the information now. Boys and girls, this is a 3 marks question. We cannot do it the same as we did on this one. Why? Because now we know what is L, we know what is the center. Because this is the diameter, then it means now we can use the center to determine the coordinates of n. Right, that is question 6.4, right? 6.4. What are we going to do now? The center is our midpoint now of the line LN. Now it means we are going to use the midpoint formula, whereby we say now x value at the midpoint is equals to x1 plus x2 divided by 2. And of course, what is the x value at the midpoint? It's a minus 4. It means we are taking this value here. Minus 4 is equals to x1, of course, will be what? X1, of course, remember you said the value, the coordinates of L is a minus 3 there. It means you are going to have minus 3 plus x2 there. Then we divide it by what? We divide everything by 2. And then from here, we do a cross multiplication. 2 times minus 4. It is a minus 8 is equals to minus 3 plus x. And therefore, x now is equals to what? X now is equals to a minus 5. Y minus 5, that will be minus 8 plus 3. This one, when we add the 2, then we get the answer, which is minus 5. Right, now we have the x value. Now, how do we determine the y value? Of course, y value at the midpoint is equals to y1 plus y2 divided by 2. And then the y value at the midpoint there, you remember now you said is what? It is a positive 4. It is the positive 4. Here's a positive 4 here. That is 4 is equals to y1 will be 5 plus y divided by 2. y5. Then from this point here, the coordinates of L, then y is 5, 2 times this, it's 8 is equals to 5 plus y, and therefore y now is equals to what? It's equals to 8 minus 5. 8 minus 5 is then what? Is equals to 3. Therefore, the coordinates of n is minus 5 as well as what? As well as 3. The x coordinate is minus 5 and the y coordinate is a positive 3. That is question 6.4. Of course, one can also say, let me find the equation of this one. Once you have the equation of NQ, of course, you have the equation of L, then you can just equate the two. We are still going to get the same answer. But at the end of the day, boys and girls, this is what? This one here is a 3 marks. It's a 3 marks question. Right. Now let us look at 6.5. Let us look at 6.5 now. Write down the coordinates of NQ. Write down the coordinates of NQ. 6.5, write down the coordinates of N, or write down the equation of NQ. Write down the equation of NQ, not coordinates, write down the equation of NQ. Now here it is NQ now. When you look at NQ, it's not a circle. NQ is not a circle. What is NQ? That is a straight line. Name, that is a straight line. You remember now the form here must be what? If it's a straight line, then it means we need to have y is equals to mx plus c, which is very, very important. Or y minus y1 is equals to m into x minus x1. Whereby now we say m is what? M is our gradient. Good. Now, boys and girls, now when you look at this one now, our NQ now, they said something about it too. LP is parallel to NQ. That is why it's very important now to read the statement and underline the important information. It is very, very important. Right, from here now we can see since LP is parallel to NQ, then it means the gradient of LP is equal to the gradient of NQ. Right now, from this one, you remember now the equation. You remember now the equation of LP. The equation of LP then is y is equals to what? Minus x plus 2. Then immediately now we can see now the gradient here. The gradient is minus 1. Therefore, now since these two lines are gradient, therefore the gradient of LP is equals to the gradient of NQ, which is equals to a negative 1. Now you have the gradient, and therefore now what you are going to do now is just to say y minus, you take now the x value at this point at n, which is 3, is equals to negative 1 now, into x plus what? Plus 5. Why x plus 5? Because we have a negative here, negative times this negative, it will give us the positive 5. Right, from here now we have negative x and negative 5. Therefore, y is equals to, we take this on the other side, is a plus 3 there. We have minus x. We have minus x as well as what? We have minus x as well as minus 3 plus this one is going to be what? It is, of course, going to be 2. Therefore, we have minus x as well as minus 2. This one is the equation of the line N and Q. Right, boys and girls, you can just see, once you are able now to have, this is the equation of a straight line, of course, it's a grade 11's work. The coordinates of N, of course, if you understand the midpoint, then it will be easier for you to solve this one. Because you need what? You need to understand that the diameter is R1 plus R2, which is 2R. Then it means the distance from the center to the L and also the distance from M to N are the same. Right. Of course, boys and girls, I think now you remember everything because I tried to do this one for you so that at least you have a better understanding of what? You have a better understanding of the analytical geometry of what? Of grade 12. Right. Now, let us quickly look at the second question here as well. Let us look at the second question here as well. We have PQ. It's the diameter of the circle with P, which is 3 and 5, and Q, minus 1 and minus 7. And now they are saying here, A is the center of the circle. That is good. Now, 4.1.1 now says, write down the coordinates of A. Write down the coordinates of A. And the second question, hence calculate now the equation of the circle in the form x minus a all squared plus y minus b all squared is equals to r squared. Boys and girls, the two questions when I add, they will give me 5 marks now. Then it means now, because now I've done the first one for you, then it means now, at least now you have a better understanding now. I'm going to give you also 4 minutes now to go through 4.1.1 as well as 4.1.2. Then we're going to discuss it immediately after 4 minutes. Right, thank you very much. Now let us look at 4.1.1. Write down the coordinates of A. Now A here, when you look at A is our center. Then if it's a center, then it means that will be the midpoint of P as well as Q. That will be the midpoint of P as well as Q. Right, then it means we are going to use the midpoint formula. We are going to use the midpoint formula now to say what? To say now we have a here, which is x1 plus x2, now divided by 2, and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Remember the first one, we had the center. The problem was we did not have P. But in this one, we have those points P as well as Q. Now we are looking for the center. Right, now the next part now will then be, what is x1? This will be x1, y1, and this will be x2, and then y2. Then of course we have minus 1 plus 3 divided by 2, and also here we have what? We have minus 7 plus 5 divided by 2. Right, from here now we are going to see now minus 1 plus 3. Minus 1 plus 3 is 2. Then 2 divided by 2, there is 1. And also here we have minus 7 plus 5. Minus 7 plus 5. Of course it will be what? It will be minus 2. Minus 2 divided by 2. The answer there it is. The answer there it is minus 1. Therefore now you immediately can see now the coordinates of what? The coordinates of A there is a positive 1 as well as negative 1. Would I have you? I believe that you have this question. You have this question right. Now, what about 4.1.2? What about 4.1.2? Hence, now calculated the equation of the circle in the form x minus a squared plus y minus b all squared is equals to r squared. Of course, immediately now you can see, because A is a center. Now you can see now this circle is centered at any point, right? It is centered at any point. Therefore, now we are going to use now x minus a all squared plus y minus b all squared is equals to r squared. Then what is the center there? Then a is 1 all squared, and now y there, it is what? Which is our b? It is negative 1 all squared is equals to r squared. Then of course this is y plus 1 all squared is equals to r squared. And now here we are. Right, now we need to see now, do we have the radius here? No, we don't have the radius, but we have what? We have a point on there. We have a point on the circle. Then it means we need to substitute one of the point. We need to substitute one of the point. Let us take point P. Let us substitute point P there. The coordinates of P is 3 as well as what? 3 as well as 5. Right, x is 3. We're going to have 3 minus 1 all squared plus, then y then will be 5 plus 1 all squared is equals to r squared. Now 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. Then plus 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 squared is 30. 36 is equals to r squared. Now when I add the 2, 36 plus 4, that is 40. Therefore r squared is equals to 40. Therefore now the equation will then be what? The equation is x minus 1 all squared plus y plus 1 all squared is equals to 40. That will be the equation of the circle with the center A. Right, now boys and girls, I believe now at least now we have two questions where we have calculated what? Where we have calculated the equation of a circle now centered at any point. Right, now let us now take the third one now to see what is it that we have now. That is question 6 now. Question 6 here, we have the circle with the center A, and the equation of that circle is x minus 3 all squared plus y plus 2 all squared is equals to 25. It's given in the following diagram. And now B is a y-intercept of the circle. Right, the first question here says, determine the coordinates of B, 6.1. Determine the coordinates of B. That is a 4 marks question. Of course, 4 marks question, then we can just give it what? We can just give this 4 marks question 3 minutes to go through it, and then immediately then after that now we are going to discuss it before we go for break. Now 3 minutes, go through the question 6.1, then we will have break immediately after this one. Right, thank you very much. Now let us look at 6.1 here. The coordinates of B. Remember now they said now we have the equation x minus 3 all squared plus y plus 2 all squared is equals to 25. Now, we need to look at b. B here, they said b is the y-intercept of the graph, right? B is the y-intercept of the circle. Therefore, if b is a y-intercept, then it means x value at this point is what? X value at this point is 0. Why? Because you remember from the functions, when you determine the y-intercept, then what do? Then you let x to be 0. Then it means we are going to take the equation x minus 3 all squared plus y plus 2 all squared is equals to 25. Then immediately from here now, we can now say what? We can now say, okay, let x be 0. Then we say 0 minus 3 here squared, and now plus y plus 2 all squared is equals to 25. Now when you simplify this one, minus 3 squared is 9, and now plus, then y plus 2 all squared is equals to 25. Of course, when I transpose 9, then it's going to be y plus 2 all squared is equals to, that is 25 minus 9. What is 25 minus 9? Of course, that is 16. That is 16. Therefore, now we have y plus 2 all squared is equal to 16. Now, what I can do now is to do what? Apply the square root on both sides. Of course, you need to be very careful on this one. Most of the time, I don't use this one because you'll forget that the square root of 16, it is a plus or minus what? Plus or minus 4. Then this side now, you're going to have what? You're going to have y plus 2. Right, immediately from here now, I can now say, therefore, now y plus 2 is equals to 4, or y plus 2 is equals to what? Is equals to minus 4. Right, from here now, y is equals to 4 minus 2. What is 4 minus 2? That is 2. And also on this side, y is equals to minus 4 minus 2, which the answer there will be what? Will be 6. But immediately when you look at this one, b now is on the positive side of the y. Then it means now the coordinates of b here will be x is 0. Then y is what? Y is it's a positive 2. Right, boys and girls, I believe that we have this one right. You can also see that this one here, it doesn't only apply also in paper 1, also in paper 2. We need this one to know that when you talk of the y-intercept, what is it that is going to happen? That is why now we have said now x must be what? X must be 0. Right, boys and girls, we are going to take the break now. Then immediately after the break now, we are going to continue with the question. We're still busy with question 6 under analytical geometry. Right, thank you very much, boys and girls. I think now you are seated now. Let us now finish what we have started. Remember, we are busy with question 6. We did question 1, and now the coordinates of b there, we said the coordinates of b, it's 0 and 2. Why is 0 and 2 here? Why is 0 and 2 here? Because they said now b is a y-intercept of the graph. Of course, now we had to take the positive 1 here because we have the 2. The other one, y is equals to 2. The other one, y is equals to minus 6. Now, when you look at the graph now, minus 6, of course, will be below the x-axis. And now positive 2 will be there above the x-axis. Good. Now, best thing is, let us now go to 6.2. 6.2 says now write down the coordinates of C if C is a reflection of B in the line x is equals to 3. Write down the coordinates of C if C is a reflection of B in the line x is equals to 3. Right. Now, what is it that you are going to do here? Of course, very important here that we must look at this. What is the center of this circle here? What is the center of the circle? The center of the circle is 3 as well as minus 3 as well as minus 2. Of course, it means the reflection now will take place at this point here. The reflection will take place at this point here, at the center here, where we have x is equals to 3. Right, of course, what I'm happy about is when I take this point and reflect it on this side, we are still going to have the same y. Y will be what? Y will be 2. We are still going to have the same y, which is 2. Now we must look for the what? For the x value. Right, now we must look for the x value. Right, now if the distance from here to the point here is a positive 3, then it means also on this side to this one here, it will also be what? We must also have positive 3 as well. Now we have 1, 2, 3. Then it means it's going to be 3 plus 3 is 6. Then it means now the coordinates of C there will be 6 as well as 2. And it means now when I respond to question 6.2, then we are going to have what? We are going to have the coordinates of C, that is 6 as well as 2. Right, these are the coordinates of the point C. The x coordinate is 6 and then the y coordinate there is 2. Right, 6.2.3. 6.2.3, the circle is enlarged through the origin by a factor of 3 divided by 2. Write down the equation of the new circle, center A prime in the form x minus a all squared plus y minus b all squared is equals to r squared. What are we going to do now? Yes, of course, boys and girls, now we need to multiply this one. Remember now, the equation here is what? Our equation here is x minus 3 all squared plus y plus 2 all squared is equals to 25. It is easier, boys and girls, for us if we apply this transformation at the center, right? Unlike maybe multiplying everything out and then after that apply the transformation. On that way, it is very difficult, right? Now it means what you are going to do here is we say now we have x minus 3. We multiply it by the scale factor here. What is the scale factor? The scale factor is 3 divided by 2. Then we multiply this by 3 divided by 2. We square it. And now plus this one is a y plus 2 multiplied by 3 divided by 2 on this side. And all squared is equals to 25 multiplied by... Now this 25 here, we change it to the radius. Then r then will be what? Will be 5 squared. And of course, what is important is we now take 5, we multiply by what? We now take 5, we multiply by 3 over 2. Then we square it. Right, now, from here now we are going to have x minus 9 all over 2 all squared. Y, negative 3 times 3, that is negative 9 all squared. And now we have plus, this one will be y. Now, 2 multiplied by 3 over 2, the answer there will be a plus 3 squared, now which is equals to, then 5 times 3, that is 15 divided by 2, all squared, right? Now when I simplify this one, it is x minus 9 over 2 all squared plus y plus 3 is equals to, right now, 15 squared. What is 15 squared? Of course, 15 times 15 there, it is 225 divided by 4. Therefore, the equation of the new circle now with the a prime is x minus 9 over 2 all squared plus y plus 3 all squared is equals to 225 divided by what? Divided by 4. Right. Now, boys and girls, is very important. The same apply if we have the vertical movement as well as the horizontal movement. It's very important that you just look at the center and then you apply it where? You apply it on the center. Right. Now, 6.4. Very interesting question here, 6.4. In addition to the circle with the center A and the equation x minus 3 all squared plus y plus 2 all squared is equals to 25. You are given the circle x minus 12 all squared plus y minus 10 all squared is equals to 100 with the center B. 6.4.1, you must calculate the distance between the two circles A and B. And now 6.4.2, in how many points do these two circles intersect? And now you must justify your answer. Boys and girls, the two questions add up to 4. I'm interested on your solution on these two questions. Boys and girls, these two questions, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to go through the questions. Then immediately after that, now we are going to discuss. I want to see the first one as well as especially the second one is the most crucial one that I want to see. If you still remember now, what is it that you must do? If you want to check if the two circles intersect at 1 point or at 2 points or they don't intersect at all. 3 minutes, then we'll discuss these questions after. Right, thank you very much, boys and girls. Let us look at our solutions now. Let us start with 6.4.1. Let us start with 6.4.1. First of all, now we need to calculate the distance between the center A and B. Then it means we need to know what is the center of this circle with the center A, and now what is also the center of this circle with the center B. Right now, the center A here, the coordinates there are what? They are 3 as well as minus 2. Remember now, if it's a minus, it will be positive. If it's a positive, then it's a minus. Right, the second one is B. The center of B there is a positive 12 as well as positive 10. Right, now we've identified the coordinates of the center. Then now we can use the distance. Now the distance of AB, it's a square root of x2 there. It's a 12 minus 3 all squared. Now plus, then we have a 10 minus 2 all squared. Then from here now, what we have is 12 minus 3 is a 9 squared plus 10 plus 2 here. That will be 12, then we square it, right? Now from here now we can now say, okay, 9 squared is 81 plus 12 squared is 144. Now the two now when you add, we are going to get what? 225. And what is the square root of 225? The square root of 225 is 15. Now it means now the distance between two centers A and B, it's 15 units, right? That is a 15 units. Good. Now, that is question 6.4.1. Now let us look at 6.4.2. 6.4.2, it says now, in how many points do these two circles intersect? Now we need to justify our answers. Of course, you remember now we need to take the 2. We need to take R1 plus R2, then to see what is the answer there. Right, R1, we agree that it will be 5, because the square root of 25 is 5, plus R2. R2 there, it's 100. Of course, what is the square root of 100 is 10. Now, when I add the 2, 5 plus 10, then it's 15. Now you can see now the sum of this one, R1 plus R2, then is equals to the distance of AB. Then it means if R1 plus R2 is equals to the distance of AB, therefore now we can conclude saying now the two circles will what? Will intersect at what? At 1 point. The two circles will what? Will intersect at 1 point, because now the sum of the radius is equals to the distance between the what? Is equals to the distance between the two centers. It is very important. Now remember also, you still have, they can also ask you the same question where you find that the distance is greater than the sum of the two radius, or the distance is less than the sum of the two radius. If the distance is less, than R1 plus R2, then it means the two circle will intersect at the 2 point. But if the distance is greater than R1 plus R2, of course there is no intersection between them. There is no intersection between the two circles. Boys and girls, this is very, very important. You need to remember this as well. You just have to find the distance between the two centers, and therefore now you find the sum of the radius. Now if they are equal, then it means there is 1 point. If it's greater than 0, there is no intersection. If distance is less than the sum of the two radius, then it means they are more than one intersection, which is very, very important. Right, boys and girls, that was question 6, which I believed that now you have it right now, and you understand now what is it that is needed from you in this topic here. Right, now we go now to the next one now, which is now February 2011. We go now to February 2011. Now, question 5. Question 5, it says now the equation of a circle is x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 6y is equals to 15. That is good. And now, immediately after that, now they said, now prove that the point 2 and minus 9 is on the circumference of the second. So we must prove that this point is on that second. Now, how do we prove this one? Yes, I can see now you are fighting to do this question here because it's a straightforward question. Yeah, you are fighting to do it because it's a straightforward question. Where do we start? Where do we start? Of course, first of all, we take x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 6y is equals to 15. What are we going to do here? Now we substitute this point here. We substitute the point 2 as well as minus 9. Now we see now we have x squared there. That will be 2. You square it. Plus y is a minus 9 squared. Minus 8 times 2. Then plus 6 times what? Times minus 9. Right, of course, let me call it to the left-hand side. And therefore, from here now, 2 squared is 4. Minus 9 squared is what? It's 81. Minus 16. And therefore, now we have 6 times 9. 6 times minus 9. It is a minus 50. Minus 54. Right, from here now, if minus 54, minus 16, the answer there is minus 70. Then plus what? Plus 81. It's 11. And now plus 4. Then it's 15. Therefore, now the left-hand side is equals to 15. And therefore, you can see now left-hand side is equals to the right-hand side. Now, if the left-hand side is equals to the right-hand side, now it shows that the point now lies on the circle. It's very important. Also, you remember now, it will be easier for you if you do this one in the equation where you have x squared plus y squared is equals to r squared. Because if this one here, it is less than r, it means that point is inside. But if it's greater than r, it means the point is outside the circle. Good. Now we have shown that the point 2 and minus 9 lie on the circumference of the circle. Right, 5.2. 5.1.2. You must determine an equation of the tangent to the circle at this point 2 and minus 9. Determine the equation of the circle, determine the equation of the tangent to the circle at a point 2 and minus 9. That is a 7 marks question. Where do you start? What is a tangent? Of course, a tangent is a straight line. Immediately when you talk of a straight line, you remember the gradient and a point on that line. Of course, we have a point. The only thing that we need to determine now is a gradient name. What do you know? Another thing about a tangent is perpendicular to the radius. It's very, very important. It means now we need to have the center. We need to have the center first. Then we have x squared minus 8x. Then plus y squared plus 6y is equals to 15. Right, from here now, remember now, if you want to have the center, you need to complete the square here to have x squared minus 8x. Now, what is it that you're going to do now? We are going to add half of the middle term here. What is the half of the middle term? Of course, it's a minus 4. We add minus 4 squared, and also you do the same on this side. If you add minus 4 on this side squared, you do the same. Now, you must also add what? You must also add minus 4 also on this side. Then you square it. Now, what do you do on the left? Remember, you must also do it on the right-hand side so that you don't change the equation. Plus here, we have y squared plus 6y. Right now, what is the half of the middle term as well on this side? half of the middle term, then that will be 3. Then we square it. We do the same 3 and then square it. Right, from here now you can see now, once you have this one, of course, one will decide to multiply it out. When you multiply out, minus 4 squared is 16. Then now I can now say, okay, this one is the same as x, now minus 4 all squared, right? Because 4 times 4 is 16, 4 plus 4 is 8. It will give me the middle term. Most of the time, I just take the square root of x squared is x, the square root of minus 4 squared is 4. The sign of the middle term must also be the same as the one inside the brackets, right? Plus this side, I do the same. That is y plus 3 all squared. Then is equals to, that is 15 plus 16, then plus 9. That is 15 plus 16, 15 plus 16 plus 9, then the answer there is 40. The answer there is 40, therefore we have x minus 4 all squared plus y plus 3 all squared is equals to 40. Right, now, immediately after this one, now we can now see now the center here. Our center here is what? Our center is equals to what? It's a 4 and minus 3. Our center is 4 and minus 3. Right now, what is it that we're going to do with center? Of course, we need now to have the gradient of the radius. We need now to have the gradient of the radius. You remember now from the question here, they said at a point where we have 2 as well as minus 9. It means now the point that we must use is 2 and minus 9. Then I can now say this is x1, y1, and this will be x2 and y2. This will be x2 and y2. Therefore, the gradient formula still the same. y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. What is y2 there? y2 is a minus 9 minus 3. Good. Then x2, that is 2 minus 4. And now the answer, the negative term is negative, is a positive. Minus 9 plus 3 is a minus 6. Then divided by what? 2 minus 4 is a minus 2. Then the answer there is, it is positive 3. The answer there is positive 3. Right, now, it means now we have the gradient of what? We have the gradient of the radius. How do we determine the gradient of the tangent? Of course, you remember now, m radius multiplied by m tangent is equals to negative 1. Right, you substitute this one here, m tangent is negative 1. Therefore, now you divide both sides by 3. Therefore, m tangent will be negative 1 divided by 3. That will be negative 1 divided by 3. Right. From here now, the equation now will be y minus y1 is equals to m into x minus x1. Right. Our gradient, negative 1 divided by 3. And now this side is y minus 9. Of course, this is a point that we must use. And now x minus 2. When I multiply out, that is 1 over 3x plus 2 divided by 3. Of course, this side is 1 plus what? 1 plus 9. Now we have 1 divided by 3x. Now plus, this is 2 over 3 minus 9. Then it's equals to y. Therefore, the final answer there is 1 over 3 there, x. Now we take a 2 over 3 there, minus 9, and then the answer is what? It's a minus 25 divided by 3, which is the equation of what? Which is the equation of the tangent. Equation of the tangent at the point 2n minus 9. Right, boys and girls, I think now you have seen the two, which is very, very important. The equation of the tangent, make sure that you have the center. Once you have the center, now you can use the gradient to determine the gradient of the radius, and therefore now the gradient of the tangent, because now tangent is perpendicular now to the radius. You say m radius multiplied by the m tangent is equals to negative 1. Therefore, that is why I said m tangent there. It's a minus 1 over 3. Then the equation of the tangent is a straight line. Y minus y1 is equals to m into x minus x1. Therefore, now you do a substitution, and now you simplify. Remember to write your equation in the form y is equals to mx plus c. Right, boys and girls, now I believe now you are really following well in this type of the questions. Please make sure that you practice so that you can get this one. You can get this one right. Right, the last question here. The last question here is of course 5.2. It is 5.2. Then 5.2 says you calculate the length of the tangent AB drawn from the point A to the circle with the equation. Calculate the length of the tangent AB drawn from the point A to the circle with the equation x minus 3 all squared plus y plus 1 all squared is equals to 10. That is a 5 marks question, boys and girls. Let me test you on this one for 4 minutes to see if you'll get this question right, so that immediately after 4 minutes, then you have his solutions, then we discuss it together to see if you can really answer this type of questions. Right, thank you very much. Let us see, boys and girls, what is it that we're going to do here? The length of the tangent AB drawn from the point A to the circle of the equation x minus 3 all squared plus y plus 1 all squared is equals to 10. Right, let me try to have a sketch for this one. Boys and girls, this is going to be a rough sketch so that at least we can just have a picture of what we are going to do here. Right, and now from here now we have what is the center of the circle? The center of the circle, of course, the center of the circle will then be 3 as well as negative 1. 3 and negative 1, we agree that 3 and negative 1, of course, x is 3, y is y. Possible on this side, that is the center of the circle. Right, now, where is this point A? Point A is 6 as well as positive 4. 6 and positive 4, that will be A on this side, that is 6 and positive 4. Right, boys and girls, then if we have the circle here, if this is our circle here, and now we can now say, okay, now the tangent can be on this side, and now we say this one is what? This is our B. Or it can also be on the other side. One can decide now to say, okay, it is on this side. But now, let us take it to be on this side. Of course, now, this one, remember now, it is perpendicular now. If I draw this one, we have now 90 degrees here. Why 90 degrees? Because I know that the tangent now is perpendicular to the radius. Right. Now I can now join this one. Now I have now what? I have a right angle triangle. I have a right angle triangle. Right. Now from here now, what is it that we know now? We know the center. The center is what? The center now, it is what? It is 3 as well as negative 1. The center is 3 as well as negative 1. And also the other thing that we know is the radius. Our r here is the square root of what? Square root of 10. It means now this one here, it is the square root of 10. Now, what is the question? The question said, now determine the length of the tangent AB. It means we want to find the length of the tangent AB. Right, what is it that we're going to do here? The first thing that I've identified here is the triangle that we see here. That is a right angle triangle, right? As it is a right angle triangle, then I need to have one side so that at least I can now be able to use the Pythagoras theorem to find the distance of AB. Right now, this side, I don't know what is the coordinates of B, right? But this one, I have the coordinates of A as well as the coordinates of what? The coordinates of the center. Then it means I can use the distance formula now to say the distance between the 2 points here, it is the square root of what? It is the square root of x2 minus y, x2 and y2, and then x1 and y1. Therefore, we are going to have x2, which is 3. Which is 3 here. Of course, minus 6 all squared plus, and now we have minus 1, minus 4 all squared. Now, what is it that we are having here? 3 minus 6, it is a minus 3 all squared. And now here we have minus 5 all squared. Now, from here, now we can now say minus 3 squared is 9, plus minus 5 squared is 25. 9 plus 9 plus 25 is what? That is the square root of what? That is the square root of 34. That is the square root of 34. Therefore, this side here is the square root of 30. It's the square root of 34. Right, boys and girls, now I can now be able now to say, okay, now, the distance of AB is AB squared, of course, is equals to what? AB squared is equals to the square root of 10 all squared plus the square root of 10. No, not the square root of 10. We have AB squared. AB squared is this side. Now we need to identify what is the hypotenuse side. The bigger side, of course, is this one here. Now AB squared then will be the bigger side, which is what? The square root of 34 all squared. The square root of 34 all squared minus what? Minus the square root of 10. Because remember, we only added the 2 if we are finding the longer side, the hypotenuse side here. But now we are finding another side. That is why we must take now the hypotenuse side minus the square root of 10. Right now, we square everything here. The square root of 10 squared is 34 minus the square root of this one is 10. Therefore, now 34 minus 10 is what? That is 20. That is 24. Therefore, now AB squared is equals to 24. Then apply the square root on both sides. Then AB is equals to the square root of 24. AB is equals to the square root of 24. Then, of course, if you use your calculator, the square root of 24, it's 2 square root of 6. That is 2 square root of 6. But when you write it down as a decimal, that you will get 4,9. You will get 4,9. That is 4,90. Right, boys and girls, now that is question 5.2. Please make sure that you practice this type of questions as well, because really, we don't know what will be on that paper on that day. It is very important to make sure that you really go through this type of questions. Right, now, boys and girls, I think we're almost at the end of our sessions. Quickly, please make sure that you have your mind map under analytical geometry. This morning, we have looked at what? We have looked at grade 11 and grade 10 analytical geometry. Of course, please look at the distance and look at the gradient and also look at the midpoint. And now, when you come to the gradient, boys and girls, remember now, for you to determine the gradient, you need 2 points. If not 2 points, make sure that you look for the parallel line, the perpendicular line, as well as the angle of inclination. Now, when you go for grade 12, the circle centered at origin and the other one that is centered at any points, you must be able to determine the equation of the two. And also you must ask yourself, what is it that you need for you to determine the equation of the circle? Of course, the last one then will be what? The equation of the tangent. Of course, tangent is perpendicular to the radius. Therefore, you'll use m tangent multiplied by m radius is equals to negative 1. Boys and girls, prepare yourself thoroughly. Make sure that each and every day counts. The exam is around the corner here. Make use of each and every day and make sure that you understand what you are doing. Thank you very much.